This is Salam Radio, Peterborough's Muslim community radio, broadcasting on 106.2 FM and online.
Assalamu alaikum, you are tuning into Her Chronicles. I'm your host Maleeha Iqbal, and for the next hour I will be discussing why we feel stuck and what to do about it, and also a take on my Ramadan reflections, so lessons that I've learnt throughout Ramadan that I'm going to be sharing with you guys as well. But common reasons why we tend to feel stuck are maybe because we're in a difficult relationship, maybe we're struggling with our job, our mental health, our physical health. But a quote that really resonated with me when I was going through a period of time where I was feeling stuck is, we cannot become who we want by remaining who we are. And I just think that quote is so powerful because it really does just shine. It really does make us realize, actually, you know what? We need to do something proactive about feeling stuck and, you know, really identifying what exactly it is that we're feeling and how we're going to get out this mindset and become a better person. You know, when we feel stuck, we feel like we're not able to change what we are doing or who we are until we pass the roadblock, whatever that might be. There are going to be roadblocks, and we have to accept that because nothing in this world comes easy to us. You know, nothing is free. But instead of saying, you know what, it is what it is, you need to be proactive about it, whether you speak to someone about it, or whether you are highlighting the role of faith and spirituality in fostering resilience and coping with your mental health challenges. But that being said, it's a very hard and a very draining journey. But in order to become a better person, in order to become so close with the Deen and with Allah, we have to face these roadblocks, and sometimes we kind of push them down, and we try to not see the bigger picture. You know, we just think, you know, we'll stop feeling like this later on, but unfortunately that isn't the case. So the main reason that I have observed for why, well, I particularly feel stuck is the first one being burnt out. When it comes to burnout, it initially means pushing yourself to your limits because you're using up all your energy so quickly. You fall into rock bottom, so you feel you cannot give anything more. Being stuck in burnout is painful and feels like a never-ending cycle of giving everything you have to then feel like you have no more to give. Whether you're not sleeping properly, not taking time to recharge, or not focusing on your Deen, you need to work on these 3 unhealthy habits that are causing you to hit rock bottom. I think the second factor is procrastination. We all do it. It's a never-ending cycle that I really do struggle with myself, whether I'm just delaying important tasks, pushing them to the back of my mind, whether that's in my university life, my personal life, and not really sticking to my goals, which will, of course, allow me to feel like a failure, really, because I'm not matching my expectations of trying to become a better person and trying to connect more with my faith. You know, so you have all these important tasks that you need to get done, and you feel you're unable to do that because you feel this, and then you can't do that. So you feel this kind of dissatisfaction feeling that you can't seem to shake off because you no longer bring yourself to even look at those tasks, but they're taking over your brain. The third factor, is inaction. When you're not prioritizing your Deen, your time automatically fills up with useless things because you're not taking the action to learn or grow, and to do what's worthwhile. Your time is then fulfilled with meaningless types of things. You know, if you are someone who is really trying to practice your faith more, then you'll understand the taste of sweetness you feel once you've prayed all your salahs, once you've, instead of going on social media, you're taking the time to read Quran, or maybe you're just taking time out of your day to spend with your family, or just really going on a walk, doing anything more meaningful with your time. So you've tasted that sweetness, and almost seen a glimpse of what your life could be like if you prioritize your deen more, if you're delegating your time wisely. And so to fulfill that, it can be quite challenging given the fact we live in the 21st century and everything seems to be technology. But at the end of the day, this is your time. It's, you know, it's what you choose to do. And if you are prioritized, if you want to connect with your deen, then you kind of need to set these boundaries in place where you're going to not go on social media as much. You're going to fill your time up with things that are going to connect you closer to Allah. And you are really just going to strive your hardest to become a better person for yourself, to get you out of this mindset of feeling stuck and feeling like you're not going to go anywhere and you're not going to achieve the things that you've always wanted to. So being, you know, proactive is really, really going to help, you know. So we have tasted the sweetness of these beautiful actions by staying on top of your deen, you know, and just being a kind human being as well. That feeling that you want to feel that feeling every single day. I know for me, when I was feeling stuck, I really tried to prioritize this factor. And one of the reasons why is because I recently listened to a podcast where there was a young Muslim girl discussing why she doesn't listen to music anymore. And I do listen to music, and I've always kind of, in the back of my mind, there's always kind of like this question mark where I'm like, well, is this really helpful? Is this really making me a better person? Is this wise to spend my time listening to, in a way, I guess it's just like meaningless words at time? And don't get me wrong, not all music is like that, but obviously we want to be listening to beautiful kind of quotes. We want to be listening to meaningful podcasts and really just listening to the Quran, trying to be one with Allah. So this Ramadan, I decided to cut down on my music intake. Well, I obviously don't listen to music during the 4 weeks. However, I was practicing this before Ramadan, where I created a nasheed list of all my favorite nasheeds. And I really found that beneficial because instead of clicking on my regular playlist like I normally would, I was clicking on my nasheed list and, you know, really going through it. And I don't know about you, but whenever I listen to just music, I always am kind of drawn to listening to really sad music. And I don't really know why that is. But the way that type of music made me feel was not great. Like, it made me feel kind of empty. It wasn't really like a boosting my energy or my happiness. If anything, it was downcreasing. And I just realized that, you know what, this isn't what I need to be listening to. This is not helping me in any way. It's not making me feel like I'm productive. It's not making me feel of energy. It's not making me feel closer to Allah. What am I really doing by listening to this music? So yeah, and I'm still on a journey towards just completely shutting music out of my life. But like I said, it's a long journey still for me personally. But I think hearing motivational talks about not listening to music, you know, we are kind of taught as Muslims, you know, we shouldn't be listening to any sort of kind of like the Western music. We should only really be listening to either instruments or recitations of the Quran and the sheets and stuff like that. But I never really realized how damaging listening to music can be. And so if you had the time just to listen to one of these podcasts. I think you'll find it very insightful and kind of eye-opening, really. But yeah, that was I'm really happy that I did listen to that podcast, because it made me realize, actually, you know what, I do need to do something about this. I need to be proactive. I need to make a start, because, I always say it, but this Ramadan, I really, really just want to connect with my deen, and I just want to shut the world off. And that's exactly what I did, I feel. And I will be speaking about that later on, of how that made me feel in the aftermath, and how I am continuing these good habits. But now that we have covered reasons why we feel stuck, let's discuss ways to move past them. The first thing we have to start with is your intention. Make your intention for Allah. Make your actions you do for the sake of Allah. Make dua that Allah blesses you with sincerity and makes it easy for you. Sometimes we tend to overlook, when we're trying to unstuck ourselves, at these tiny habits we need to focus on more when trying to connect with Allah. So I feel like we as human beings all incorporate tiny habits. Maybe it's just like a simple one, like saying Alhamdulillah for things you're grateful for, or saying Bismillah before we do any action. These tiny habits, they only make you a better person, but they bring you so much more closer to your deen, because you're seeing the beautiful things that Allah has blessed us with. And so if you drop these tiny habits, you're gonna distract yourself. And, these small acts, they may seem small, but if you're connecting with your deen through doing these vital acts, then never let them go. Make sure you're trying to take time to focus on your salah and not rushing through it. Maybe that's one of your tiny habits. I know that's something I've been really trying to work on myself, because I've noticed that I do that, and people have told me that I do rush my salah. And I remember at first when someone told me that, I was really defensive about it, because it was actually my mosque teacher who said that. I was really defensive about that, because I thought that I was really putting my all into my salah, but my mind was somewhere else. I was doing the actions, I was reciting everything I meant to recite, but where was my mind and where was my heart while reading, while praying? It was like my mind really wanted to be in with the salah, but it was just going elsewhere. In the back of my mind, I was thinking all the things that I have to do, that I have, the important tasks that I need to get done today. And so my mindset was, okay, I am going to read salah because it makes me feel like a better Muslim and I'm connecting with Allah. But why isn't my mind just solely focusing on my salah? It was elsewhere, being distracted by just little things that really aren't important. They're really not important in the long run. So I think beforehand, before you step on let's say you're about to pray salah, right? You step on the masala mat. Now what I do is, instead of just, going straight into my salah, I just take a minute just to process in my mind that, okay, I'm going to read salah now. My full focus is going to be on my salah and Allah, and really what I want for myself, what I want for others. It's just going to be on connecting with Allah to show how grateful I am, and just speaking to Allah. It's my time, and this time is so precious, and we're so grateful that we're still able to pray salah, and that we can still talk to Allah about all our problems and to show our gratefulness. So by taking that minute before going into praying, I feel is really helpful, because then my mind has processed it already, and I feel like I'm able to focus more, and I'm able to focus more on my du'as as well. So maybe that's a small habit you can pick up as well. But don't discredit the small habits, because they can be super impactful for you. Bear that in mind. I think another thing we tend to overlook is making sure the environment you're in is it's all about environment. So whether you're in your bedroom or in another type of space, making sure that environment is clean. I know for me, when my room is cluttered or messy, my mind is cluttered, my motivation to do anything decreases. I just don't want to do anything because my space is not the way I want it to be. You know, my space is a dirty space. So cleaning your room, putting stuff away, maybe decorating your room to make it feel like a safe and calming environment can be very beneficial, as it gets rid of the mental load. So it's important to make sure your space is clean, as well as, you know, just making sure that you yourself are clean, that you feel the best, you know, that you've washed, maybe you put on like a nice abaya, you know, you're dressed up, you just feel special and you feel ready to take on the day. I can't tell you how helpful that is when trying to just become maybe more productive, or trying to get out that burnt out feeling, is just trying to take care of yourself first and trying to take care of your environment, because those two aspects are going to then help you increase your motivation to take on another challenge, to, you know, make yourself just feel so much more better. So I know for me, I really like to clean my room. I kind of do like a Sunday clean, and then throughout the week I always just kind of keep on top of my clothes, making sure there's no clothes on the floor, making sure I'm putting my dirty clothes in the washing machine, and really just trying to stay on top of keeping my bedroom clean, because if I'm not, then it's just going to be a heap pile of mess, which is not what we want, because we want to have a clean mind. So in order to do that, we need to have a clean bedroom. And I think maybe to make it more special, maybe if you're praying, maybe light a candle, or maybe put up a new decorations. Just make your room feel special. Make it feel like a calming energy, so then that will reciprocate into your energy then. It's just all these little things can help you out so much. And like I said, you're fostering then resilience, motivation, and you're having that mindset of, okay, well, I can do better. I know I can do better. Like, look what I've already achieved today. You know, just those small tasks can be very beneficial. So all three of these reasons we tend to feel stuck when there's specific solutions. It comes to burnout, we have to stick to the basics, you know, like if you are feeling burnt out, you need to be eating, sleeping, keeping on top of your routine. But in order to do that, we need to accept that, okay, this is what I'm feeling. You know, I've used all my energy up. I've completely drained myself to the point where maybe you don't recognize yourself. Maybe you just don't even have the motivation to even get out of bed, which it really is not the best place to be in. But at the end of the day, you know what you have to do. You kind of have to make your intention. Okay, this is what I want to do with my time. This is how I'm going to get out of feeling unstuck, really. I'm going to make my intentions clear. I'm going to pray Salah. I'm going to make dua, and I'm going to take it step by step. You know, it's this little things first. Because you're feeling like very empty, it's going to be very hard to automatically become productive and achieve all these goals that you might have set for yourself. So taking it a little step at a time, maybe it's just getting out of bed. That itself, you know, making your bed, cleaning your room. By doing these actions, you're automatically going to feel slightly more better about yourself, because you know what? You achieved something you might not have even thought about achieving last week. This is this is a sign of growth. This is a sign of, okay, actually, you know what? I want to get better, and I know I can get better. And by being closer to your deen and actually practicing the actions we are taught to incorporate as Muslims will really push you to want to strive better for yourself, and it will really energize you, and it will make you feel like, you know what, I still have so much I want to achieve, and you know now what not to do when it comes to putting your all into something. You know, we're only, as human beings, we're kind of like half a glass of water, and if you're pouring that water into another cup, all of it, you're left with nothing practically, you know. So protect your energy as well. Protect your energy. Know how much to give, and know when enough is enough. Okay, so maybe you are feeling burnt out because of an exams. You know, exam season is upon us, but that doesn't mean that we just give our all to our exams. Of course we do. We want to do well, and you know, you should try and strive to do well, but in order to do that, you need to be reasonable with yourself. You know, you need to kind of delegate time where you are going to study, but also time that you're going to recharge. You're going to do things that you enjoy doing. Maybe you're just going outside the house, meeting up with friends, family, or maybe you're just spending time by yourself doing a hobby that you're interested in. You know, of course, you are going to want to spend majority of your time studying, but also prioritizing your deen on top of that can be quite challenging. That's why I would say planning is just so crucial to anybody's life. It will help you out a lot. So, you know, planning out when you're going to revise, and then stopping when that timer goes off, and then doing things you enjoy, taking breaks, recharging yourself will just make your life a lot more easier, and you won't feel like you've just drained all your energy on these exams. You can look back at the time you were studying and think, you know what, I'm so proud of myself that I was able to navigate my life and juggle and balance all these different aspects, but I wasn't killing myself while doing this. You know, I respect myself, and I was reasonable with myself, and I made the most out of the time I had. And if you can look back and say that, then alhamdulillah, you have achieved what you wanted to. When it comes to procrastination, you're trying to defeat the mental roadblock that stands between you and productivity. So I would recommend writing down your thoughts and feelings as to what is holding you back. Maybe talking it out loud can help you move past it. Procrastination doesn't mean you're lazy. It could mean that there's a thought or feeling that is preventing you from doing something. So by identifying that feeling, you can dissect it and really understand why you feel that emotion. You know, maybe you can journal down your feelings and really identify the thoughts and emotions when it comes to trying to complete a task. What is exactly holding you back? Can it be fear? Can it just be sadness? What is that mental roadblock? You know, and sometimes it's hard to identify, as it can be a range of different things. But at the end of the day, you need to visualize how you're going to feel after that task. Most likely you will feel 1,000 times more better, and it'll just make you feel like a better person, really, for pushing through that challenging time. But by actually journaling, or maybe just speaking to someone about it, maybe someone can help you out. You know, those things are going to really help you in the long run as well. So this is how I kind of see productivity, and how I try and achieve it. So setting clear goals. when you prioritize these goals that you have a clear direction in and you're tackling the important task through them. So what I mean by that is creating realistic goals. Like I said earlier on, you know, I like to write down a whole checklist of things that I know are achievable within the day, and I know full well that I can achieve them. One of them being that I always like to clean my desk in the mornings, so I know I can tick that off. I know I'm more than capable of getting that done. Another one being that I'm going to reply to a few emails. Just the little things like that just give you so much more resilience and so much more confidence that you know what you're doing. But inshallah, join me after the break where we discuss other ways to be productive and Ramadan reflections.
Stay tuned to Salam Radio after this short ad break.
Bite into something wonderfully tasty at Big Mouth, 349 Lincoln Road in Peterborough. Eating in, for takeaway or delivery, Big Mouth now have a delicious new menu full of all your favourites. Crispy fried chicken, juicy smashed burgers, finger-licking peri-peri chicken, handmade pizzas, quality doner meat and so much more. So visit the family-friendly Big Mouth restaurant for fantastically fresh food. Call 01733 201020 or visit getbigmouthonline.com.
Attention foodies! Discover a world of flavours at Pack Foods, the largest ethnic supermarket in Peterborough. Shop our vast selection of authentic ingredients from around the globe, including spices, marinated fish and meats, and exotic fruits at incredibly low prices. And the best part? We offer free parking. No more hunting for a spot. Come visit us today and explore the incredible range of flavours at Pack Foods, 232 Lincoln Road.
Craving authentic Desi flavors? Look no further than Desi Restaurant. From midday until 1 in the morning, enjoy our homemade specialties that will transport your taste buds. Indulge in tantalizing papri chaat and savor the rich Chersi Kadahi. Treat your friends to our fresh 1 kilogram Chersi lamb handi. Plus, get 2 12-inch pizzas for $11.95. Located at 298 Lincoln Road, we deliver from lunchtime until 1 a.m. Call 01733 555 795 now to order and experience Desi Restaurant's flavors.
Do you own a restaurant or takeaway? Cater Fair is an expert supplier of new and used commercial catering equipment. Visit caterfair.co.uk for quality equipment on sale at the lowest prices, or call us on 01733 310 115 or visit us at 11 Royce Road, Fengate, Peterborough.
2020 World Buffet is inspired by the best foods from around the world. See our teppanyaki chefs grill your food to order, or choose delicious Indian, Italian, Chinese, Mexican dishes and British favourites, all halal. 2020 World Buffet offers you unlimited food at a set price. Open 7 days for lunch and dinner. Catering, wedding and party services available too. Call 01733 566 320 or visit 2020buffet.co.uk. 2020 World Buffet, 35 New Road, Peterborough, PE1 1FJ.
Whether you visit the Berry Furniture Showroom at 78B Fengate in Peterborough or view and buy online, you'll be amazed at the quality and style you could enjoy in your home. With beds from just £299 and complete 321 sofa sets from less than £1,000, you'll also be amazed at their wholesale prices too. Plus, there's a 1-year free warranty on sofas and beds, subject to conditions. Find out more, click on Berry, that's BERRE furniture.co.uk or call 01733 300 517.
At Masters Pharmacy, we put your health and convenience first. We offer free blood pressure checks and blister-packed medication. With our free same-day prescription delivery service, you can have your medication when you need it. We also offer travel vaccinations, including Hajj and Umrah, along with other services to meet all your pharmacy needs. For more information, contact Masters Pharmacy on 01733 567 208 or visit us at 303 Lincoln Road, PE1 2PH.
Peterborough's community radio station. Salam Radio, 106.2 FM.
Assalamu alaikum. You are tuning into Her Chronicles. I was just discussing productivity and ways I try to be productive. Another way that I've done this is by creating a routine and establishing a clear, structured routine that is going to actually help me stay on track. So I've designated specific times to work and then to take little breaks, and then just at the end of the day to just relax and recharge. This is very important, as you are then creating a step-by-step guide on how to achieve the small and the big task all at once, but still feeling like you're not doing too much or pushing yourself, but still having that productive feeling that, you know what, you've achieved everything you've needed to today. And each day you are striving to become a better person. When it comes to inaction, you cannot expect to change when you're not willing to make something better. We have to work towards being extraordinary one step at a time. So implement good habits such as being a kind person, avoiding bad company. Maybe it's, lowering your gaze, and then from there you're connecting with Allah more. You need to make sure you are being active. Identifying where you're going wrong and understanding that not doing anything about your problems will only create a mental battle that will continue to grow. So having self-reflection and time to rewind the time to see what you could have done better at is a good sign of inaction. So being able to look back at, maybe it was a situation you were going through, an event that took place that wasn't great for you. Being able to sit back and realize, oh wow, you know what? I don't like myself. I don't like what I said. I don't like what I did. And maybe you regret it. But at the end of the day, everything is a lesson and everything happens for a reason. So being able to understand that and accept that that was not the best you could be is only what Allah wants you to do. And having that self-reflection to realize, actually, you know what? I need to change this. I need to change this certain aspect in my life. Maybe it's an inner change you make, or you're changing your environment, or you're changing the way you would view things in the past, is a great way to start your journey on feeling unstuck. You cannot learn or grow if you do not change something. So asking, maybe you ask for help, could make the process a lot more easier. Maybe you're asking Allah for guidance, and for His mercy, or maybe you're actually reaching out and gaining maybe professional help, or you're speaking with your friends or family about what you're feeling and how to feel like you're making a change, and you're taking that first step forward by actually speaking to people about how you're feeling. And it doesn't even, I know when people say, oh well, you're really reaching out, it is a really big step, but don't feel scared to take that step. Even by, let's say if you say to someone you want to speak to them and you want to express how you've been doing lately, then that person needs to make sure that the environment you're in is safe and that they're active listening and they're considering your feelings. So you feel like you can have an open and honest discussion with them, and you feel they are going to listen to you. So it definitely takes two sometimes, but asking Allah for help will make the process easier because Allah's on your side, and as long as you're sincere, then there's nothing wrong with that, But I really hope you can take away a few factors that I have observed over why we tend to feel stuck. Of course, these aren't like these are just kind of like the three main reasons. There are a lot of different factors that play into feeling this way, but inshallah, you will be able to do something about this and take the first step forward. It doesn't have to be a big step. It can be just maybe identifying your feelings and emotions and dissecting it. Or like I said, creating a routine, establishing boundaries with people or yourself, recharging and really understanding the value of your energy, your presence and your time will all be beneficial towards getting unstuck. So I know Ramadan has passed us very quickly, but I wanted to touch on this topic because it's something that I'm experiencing right now. It's this kind of Ramadan blues, shall we say. I guess it happened so quickly, and Ramadan is such a special and peaceful time where people can really connect their minds, their bodies and souls with Allah, and also just being one and really understanding your thoughts and your feelings. But I just feel like we learn so much from Ramadan. We learn how to heal, we learn how to love, we learn how to respect, we learn self-discipline. All these different aspects that make us so much more better human beings. But I don't know about you, but whenever Eid comes around, I'm always so excited. But I think the minute Eid's over, I kind of feel like slightly empty at times, and I never really understood why. But as I've learned to grow, I've really educated myself on the importance of Ramadan and the importance of connecting with my deen. And I realized that when I feel 100%, okay, what, every single day, I know for a fact that I'm prioritizing my deen. And I knew this for a fact in Ramadan, because it's such a special time and a really meaningful time. I really did absorb all that knowledge, just the energy, the calmness, the peacefulness. And I think I really portrayed that in my personality, in my actions, in my thoughts. I was able to really slow down time, really process my feelings, but also connect with Allah in a way that I've never really felt before. So such a blessed Ramadan, alhamdulillah. And I think even from speaking to people when I was doing my Ramadan series, I spoke to such amazing women who are on their journey to completing a productive and just well-rounded Ramadan. I think from having those conversations, these open and honest conversations about how we really do feel in Ramadan and how we need to incorporate good habits and not let these habits go even after Ramadan finishes, made me realize just how important it is to incorporate womanhood and Ramadan together as one, but also just really experience Ramadan with everything that comes with it, the good and the bad and the challenges that many of us do face in Ramadan. But, I felt like when I was in Ramadan, I was, prioritizing my deen and kind of feeling very, very happy with myself, because I was able to have a handle on every aspect of my life, because I was educating myself. I was reading Quran, the English and Arabic version. I was also listening to a lot of Islamic podcasts, a lot of nasheeds, and I found this so interesting and insightful of just the beautiful reasonings behind Islam and why it even exists today, and good characteristics that I should have that I should implement into my life as a Muslim woman. And I just think it was such a beautiful time for me. The fact that I knew that the number one thing I was doing was trying to connect with myself more, you know, really appreciate the little things in life, and my deen, of course, and just how to become a better person and have a pure heart. So I think so high for us to just feel like, you know what, Ramadan is amazing, and we kind of do have this Ramadan high, and then we go from that to kind of being in our ordinary worlds again, and it can almost put us back to level zero. It can feel like you were just on top of the world a second ago, and now you feel quite empty and quite like confused maybe. But I just think it's so important to note that all these incredible things we did in Ramadan, all these good habits we implemented, we have to continue on, because, you know, we tasted the sweetness of what these habits could bring to our life and how it can make us a better person. And we've seen that firsthand, you know, from experiencing it in Ramadan. So why would we let that go? You know, we see the beauty and we understand the desire of connecting with our deen, but with that comes challenges and triumphs. But by incorporating these good habits and continuing them on will help you kind of get out that empty feeling. I know that's how I felt about having the Ramadan blues, is knowing that, you know what, but it made me such a better person. And now Allah saying, you know, continue on with this journey, don't ever let it go, because it's only the journeys that's going to make you a better person, and have a purer heart, and make you feel like, you know, you were put on this earth for a reason. And so people need to see the good side of you all the time, and you need to see the good side of yourself all the time, you know. But when he calls upon you, you know, we have this obsession. It typically means it's distracting you from your relationship. So maybe if you are dropping these smaller habits, it will just distract you, you know, and you've already gone so far that you just don't want to let these habits go, because the minute you do, the minute you're almost falling, you know, you're falling down to level zero, you know. I think this quote from Mufti Mek really does explain it better. The Almighty knows you better than you know yourself. He knows everything about you to the minimest detail. Every dream in your heart he is aware of. Whatever he gives you is for your own good. Whatever he withholds from you is also for your own good. So do not be sad. You know, we constantly think that, let's say we want something good to happen for ourselves, or we want to achieve something, and maybe that's just not written for us. Maybe Allah wants to give us something better, but it's not at the right time, or it's not the right thing for you that's going to make you, push you to be a better person. So Allah withholds that from you and says, I will bless you with something better. You just have to have tawakkul, and you have to have patience. And tawakkul is something that I never really realized the importance of, but over time, it's something that is like treasure to my heart right now, really, because having the trust in Allah, like actually putting your full faith, your trust in Allah, it really does set you apart from a normal person who would just accept it and move on, but still be disheartened if something didn't go their way. And I know for me, if something didn't go my way, it was feeling disheartened, but to another level, to the point where I was like, what am I doing? Like, why is nothing working out for me? Why is this not happening? You know, what have I done? And I always used to question it. I was like, what did I do wrong? I did nothing wrong. That was just not written for me. I'm in the exact place that I need to be in my life. And I just need to have trust in Allah that if something is meant to be, it will be. And if it's not meant to be, then it wasn't for me. It wasn't going to push me to become a better person. It wasn't going to push me to become closer to Allah. It wasn't going to push me to be the best version of myself, essentially. So when we do come out of Ramadan, we are kind of bombarded with life again. And, you know, there's this happening and there's this happening. And so we feel like we can't keep on top of that all. So we're then not prioritizing our deen as much. I'm focusing on, let's say, XYZ because it's not a big deal, you know, because we feel like we can pick these habits up again, but don't fall into these traps, you know. It's easy to say, oh, you know what, I'll just pray my salah later on. Okay, but why should Allah then wait for you? You know, why should Allah answer your dua if you're not going to give Allah the time of day, essentially? That's what it comes down to. So if Allah is willing to wait for you, why can't you set the task you wanted to do aside because it's just not as important? And when you have that mindset, okay, nothing is more important than keeping on top of my salah. And, you know, it's a hard lesson to learn because I also do this. But having tawakkul, having a better and deeper mindset into, okay, what exactly does it take to be a good Muslim? And I think first and foremost is be a kind human being. Know your priorities. Know your Lord. Because that's how you're going to know yourself. You know, be a good daughter. Be a good person. Be a person that people want to be around. And people, in a way, are inspired by you because of the deen, the nur in your face and in your eyes, because you are constantly around good people. You're prioritizing your deen. But going back to the feeling stuck phase and what to do about it, I also do know that a factor that does play into this is feeling like you need to fall into these cultural family expectations. You know, they play a big role as to why we feel stuck. You know, traditional values and norms may place limitations on personal choices, possibly aspirations as well. It's making it difficult to break free from these societal expectations. So in order to stop feeling like we need to play a role, maybe it's the role of being a good daughter, you know, but what society or what your community views as a good daughter or possibly a good wife, you know, it's breaking down these narratives. Of course we want to aspire to be a good daughter, but what exactly does that even mean? So by having these kind of labels that are associated and given to us at such a young age, and being told that we need to fulfill these to our highest level and to maybe our parents or our husband's expectations, can be quite draining, because exactly what does that person want from you, and does it also align with your morals and your aspirations? You know, it can make us feel trapped in a box that we can't break free of. You know, these narratives were drilled into our brains from such a young age. So what can we do about it? First of all, I would say have a conversation with yourself. Determine what you want and what is actually holding you back. Open up about your struggles with someone, and also having trust and just making dua that if it's right for you, Allah will grant it. So I think having maybe an honest discussion with your family as to why they expect certain things from you. Maybe it's because they were also told to believe have this mindset. You know, I think it's quite a traditional mindset to have the role to try and in a way enforce these narratives upon women especially, but I think from just communities as well, being around, you know, kind of people who, let's say, don't really want the best for you, but they want to internalize what they've been told onto you when these don't align with your morals or your values, or maybe they just don't fit in with your aspirations. I think being able to have an honest discussion with your family members, and just saying to them how you really feel in a certain situation. And, you know, we do try and uplift our parents' expectations because we want to do the best for them, you know. And of course I want my parents to be proud of me and such, but at the same time, we of course are going to have different views on things. We have different mindsets on things, being two different generations and also experiencing life in two different ways, you know. So not everything is going to go their way that they want it to. And it's difficult because traditional values and norms, they're always going to be there, and they always place limitations at times. Of course, we understand these values and we respect these values, but we don't also want to incorporate them into our lives at times. And I think these are also kind of enforced through communities and kind of just like having that old traditional mindset that we just, as young women now, we don't really align with these. You know, we want to achieve our goals to the best of our abilities, but maybe we're told that we have to put a hold on our aspirations because we have to have children, you know, you have to get married, you have to, you know, also you want to gain a degree, but at times we also have these other factors that play a part that can, in a way, destroy our mental health because we're told we have to do different things and that women can't really do everything. And of course we can, but it'd be hard to balance at times. It definitely would be hard at times, but I would say don't let these kind of labels or norms distract you or dishearten you, because they're always going to be there. You know, these just live on within a community. But I think it's also to identify exactly with your family what you want, why you do feel stuck, and, you know, how are you going to fulfill their expectations, but also fulfill your own expectations. You know, it's a hard conversation maybe to have, especially coming from like a South Asian background. It can be hard for them to fully grasp how you exactly feel, but I think just taking that first step and will really help you determine what exactly you want in the future, what you want right now, why it is you feel stuck. And I think by having that discussion, you're then able to really determine actually, oh wow, it was that factor. It was that aspect of my life that was holding me back. It was having these expectations and these narratives that were drilled into me from a young age that I couldn't really seem to get rid of. You know, so breaking down these types of narratives and these labels that are placed on women, especially marginalized women, can be a tough discussion. It can be a tough journey, but we're identifying this and making the steps that need to be made. But I do want to discuss this in more detail, of course. But yeah, and if you are feeling maybe stuck right now or even confused about what you want for your future, I would say first and foremost, make your intentions clear. Be confident in yourself. You've seen yourself through so much worse. You've pushed through those challenges already. You are more than capable of knowing what's right for you. You just need to identify your feelings. You need to dissect how you feel about certain situations that are holding you back. But yeah, thank you for listening. I hope you can take away tips and solutions on how to unstuck and how to change the bad habits. Overall, I hope you have an amazing time in next week, and inshallah join me next week. Thank you for tuning into Her Chronicles, and join me next week, inshallah. Assalamu alaikum.
Stay tuned to Salam Radio after this short